Welcome.
To the Age of Awakening.
Please identify yourself. Enter.
Hey, welcome back, Triple P Nation. It's time for the next episode of the Triple P Life Podcast. Of course, we're going to explore the tools, tactics, and strategies to help you achieve personal and business mastery. And today we're going to be really focusing on the personal side because, hey, it's the end of the year. It's what we do at the end of the year. It's time to reflect, and it's also time to look ahead. But it's also a time to sit back, detach, re-energize, and get ready to hit the new year rocking and rolling. We're going to cover all that here for you this week on this episode. And as we do so, I just want to say, I want to thank each and every one of you who take time out of your busy week to join me. Look, I know you guys are busy, and there's a million, literally, right? Not figuratively, literally a million podcasts you can reach out to and follow. And I get it. And so the fact that you come back each week to listen to the Triple P Life podcast means the world to me. And I have to thank you for that because it's an absolute honor and privilege to be behind this mic and to share my knowledge, my wisdom, my experience, my failures, my successes, and you keep coming back. So apparently we must be doing something good. And the numbers certainly reflect that. We've had massive growth this year. And again, it's all on you because it doesn't matter what I say if there isn't an audience to receive it. And as I say on this podcast, great content should flow through you, not to you. That means, because you guys tell me, hey, Dr. J, I shared this episode with so-and-so, I shared this episode, and then people reach out, hey, I listened to the episode or the interview on such and such, and it was really a game changer. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that I found your podcast. And, we did a Q&A episode earlier this fall, which was a lot of fun. I'm going to do another one again first quarter of this year. And I love your questions. I love when you engage with me because to me, I feel like I'm having a conversation with you. I don't feel like this is a dialogue. I really feel like there's a give and take going back and forth. And to me, that's what makes it interesting. And so it's great to have guests on, but I love doing these narrative episodes because we can really begin to dive into topics and I can rant, I can riff, I can get real specific and detailed on stuff. And apparently you guys like that because that's when I get the most comments. And again, I really appreciate that. So if you would like to be a part of our next Q&A episode, I'm going to ask you to email me, Dr. J at Triple P Life with your question. I think we covered 7 or 8 questions last time, including the election, which was somewhat popular and somewhat not popular. Some people liked what I had to say. Some people didn't like, but that's okay, right? The fair exchange of ideas and opinions are just that. My opinions aren't more right than yours. My philosophies and beliefs aren't more right than yours or less right than yours. But that's what makes conversation and this game of life interesting. If we all rooted for the same team, how much fun would that be? If you didn't have a buddy or two that you can, give crap to when your favorite team goes up and kicks their tail, right? Or if you had a difference of opinions, if everyone, spoke from the same hymnal, if everyone, had the same thoughts and ideas, that would not be fun. So I'd like to be a bit challenging. I like to be a bit controversial, not just because, hey, believe it or not, it actually does drive listenership, but authentically, right? If I'm going to tell you something that I feel really strongly and passionate about that I know most of you may not agree with. So be it. I respect you, but I'm going to say it anyway because I would expect you for me to tell you my honest truth and opinion. And whether you choose to agree with that or not is entirely up to you, but we can be your friends along the way. No one gets pissed off. And you know what? Hey, Jay, I don't agree with you on that, but I'm okay with it, right? Because there's a lot of good things that you say. And if you've been around long enough, I guarantee you there's stuff that I've said, you're like, nah, man, I ain't buying that one. And it's okay. It really is okay. Um, we've had some really controversial guests this last quarter of the year with Polly Tommy and Cheryl Atkinson, a little less Cheryl Atkinson. I mean, Cheryl is just amazing. And if you haven't listened to those episodes on Vax 3 and follow the science. And it was really kind of a wrap up and a synopsis of all the work we did on COVID during the last 3.5, 4 years, all the science and research that I did for you guys, all the, you know, I gave you kind of the resources where I got that information. I just felt it was really important where we are at this moment in time, to do a wrap on that because it was incredibly controversial, but it's not anymore because all the things that I shared with you turned out to be right. And of course, not just me. There were many people, who were speaking the same thing, but we were being uh, suppressed, repressed. We were being deplatformed because it wasn't going along with the narrative that was being told. And again, I think I earned a lot of your trust during that time because I told you what I believed to be true based on the research. And now we were proven to be right. And so the first thing I want to reflect back upon is those two particular episodes. I believe it was November 11th and November 2nd with Cheryl Atkinson and Polly Tommy were probably the most exciting and enjoyable and challenging interviews that I did all year, because of the topics and because the respect I have for you and to the fact I know that I just can't say things, that I have to be able to support it and back it up with real data, real science, real evidence. So they were big challenges for me. And I did a lot of work and a lot of research to make sure that I could back everything that was being said on those podcasts. And of course, they were incredible guests that are doing amazing things. And, I hope to continue to bring some incredible people like that onto the show this coming year. Again, I've got a lot of feedback from you guys after those interviews. Like, wow, what incredible gets! Those guests were amazing. I learned so much. I bought their books. I watched Vax 3. I couldn't believe what I saw, what I read. I'm always going to give it to you straight. Whether you're okay with it or not, that's up to you. But I'm always going to give it to you straight. I'm never going to sugarcoat it because you deserve to hear the truth. And that's what you're going to hear here on this show. Hear, 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 hear. Happy New Year. But that's what you're going to get from me on each and every episode. I will never, ever lead you astray, whether you agree with me or not. And that's the trust that we have here together. And I'm very, very grateful for that. I also want to say that I'm so thankful for my team, WJ, who's behind the scenes, who does incredible work with our clients, with all our vendors. He's just an incredible resource, brilliant. We have a lot of fascinating conversations, and he keeps me on his toes. So I'm very grateful for WJ, and of course, Dr. Eddie, my son-in-law, who is one of our coaches. Dr. Schaefer, who we brought on this year, is one of our coaches. We got more coaches coming on here soon because as we just continue to grow here. And again, it's a testament to the fact that people get results when they come here, whether they're looking to up-level their business, their finances, their mindset. We can help them or help you achieve the goals that you want. Because I will tell you, from my own personal experience, it is much easier to walk that path with someone who's been there, who can show you the way, than it is to try to figure it out on your own. Can you figure it out on your own? Yeah, of course. But I guarantee you it's going to take you twice, three, four times as long. And you know what? We don't have a ton of time to waste. You want to be successful. You want to achieve your goals. Why wait? Why delay the process? Why make all those mistakes only to learn from those mistakes and go, okay, well, I got to make this change. Then I got to make that change. Expedite your success. Find a coach, find a mentor that can help you get to where you want to go. So, there's just so many people to thank. And of course, I want to thank my wife who puts up with my stuff. And, I've been doing this almost 6.5 years now. And she is very supportive. One of my biggest fans. I'm so grateful and I love her immensely, not just for that, but for a variety of other reasons as well, too. But when I first started to do this, she's like, "You're going to do what and why? And what experience do you have? And what makes you think this is going to be successful?" All legitimate questions, right? I don't know. I may fall flat on my face, make a fool of myself, and so be it. That's something I've never been shy or bashful of doing. But fortunately, we've had success. Fortunately, that success is all because of you. And I look forward to an incredible year ahead and great content, great information, great guests. So I can continue to help you achieve what's called your triple P life, which I call your best life. It's about empowering your dreams, igniting your passion, and accelerating your prosperity. So I want to talk about these 7 steps to prepare you for success going into 2025. But first, I want to say is how many of you have been thinking about um, doing a New Year's resolution? Anybody? Raise your hand. Well, if you're thinking about it, I'm telling you right here, stop thinking about it. Stop wasting your energy and time on it because resolutions don't work. It's not my idea. It's not my opinion. It's what the studies show. Within 14 days, 87% of the people who made resolutions uh, are already abolished. By the end of the month, 97%. So they just don't work. So if there was something that was 97% failure rate, would you ever proceed with that? Would you ever pursue that? Of course not. You would never do that in the financial world. So that's why I want to share with you these steps here that have been very helpful for me. Um, so don't worry about a New Year's Eve sitting down writing on a cocktail napkin that's wet from your drink, some resolution. Do what very few do. Here's what I've found in life. The most successful take the road less traveled. The most successful are contrarians. The most successful are doing the things that others are unwilling to do. And I might have given you these statistics before, but only 3% of the population has goals. And of that 3%, only 10% of that 3% have written goals. We're talking an infinitesimal amount, percentage of people in the world have written goals. So you want to talk about the road less travel? You want to talk about a contrarian? Do something that very few else are willing to do. Sit down, create clarity, based on your vision and write out your goals in the simplest forms as possible. Now, there's this SMART technique, right? You want to make sure your goals are specific, they're measurable, right? You've got an action plan, they're realistic, and they've got a timeline. That's a good one. And I've used that before, but I like mine, right? It's really simple. It's the what, it's the why, it's the how, and it's the when. What, why, how, and when. What is it that I want? When do I want it by? How am I going to get it? And when would I like it by? 4 steps, right? I'm a systems guy. I like to really drill things down. That's my process. I'll go into it a little bit more here in just a minute. So, but before I do so, the success snack of the week is this: it's the power of tiny wins. Do you know big results start small? It's not massive steps that get massive results. It's small, little incremental steps over time that build the foundation to large, sustainable success. So, when you're thinking about your goals and you're thinking about the how, what it is that I need to do to achieve this goal, break it down into the simplest step. So, here's the easiest one. Let's say this year you're looking at your health and you realize, I got to get fit. I need to get in better shape. I'm going to set a goal for 25 pounds lost this year. And you haven't exercised in maybe a couple of years and you really let yourself go. Well, you know you need to start exercising. You know you need to start eating better, making better lifestyle choices. So for your exercise goal, maybe just go purchase a pair of sneakers. That is a win. It's a small result to get big results, right? It's a small start to get big results. And then it's consistent action, compounded daily, that turn into massive changes. So don't discount the importance of making small incremental steps. So I want to talk first. The first is reflect and reset. So we're in the holiday season. This is the perfect time to look at lessons learned, bridges burned, and wins earned. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I want you to reflect on your wins this year. Again, I just talked about celebrating, right? If you don't step back and take assessment of what you've accomplished this year, how can you build a foundation of success and achievement in the future? You see, we're really, really good at being anchored to our failures. But I guarantee you, too, you also have plenty of success and wins this past year that you can anchor to those to allow that to be the fuel to your success moving into 2025. Okay, I'll give you some action steps here in just a second. So let's talk about lessons from challenges. What in your life has occurred this year? Um, Mistakes, challenges that maybe were life changing, maybe they weren't so life changing, but certainly you learned specific lessons from. I want you to identify at least three of those. You see, when we can be conscious of those particular experiences, we'll be properly prepared in the future when similar lessons or challenges are presented to us that we'll be able to make and shift pretty rapidly and therefore overcome much quicker. And then the third one is, what habits have you left behind, or what habits do you want to leave behind? I talked about a few weeks ago about the shed list, that you should have a shed list. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and do so. I explain in great detail what a shed list is and why you need to have them and what areas of your life that you want to have a shed list. But here's a general overview. There are certain habits and behaviors right now that are not serving you to achieve the goals that you want to desire. A simple example is um, I want to start a new business and I need to learn certain things to be prepared to start that new business. Well, listen, sitting home and watching streaming Netflix and whatever other streaming service you subscribe to each night for 4 or 5 hours is not a habit that's going to help you get to where you want to go. So think about your vision, think about what it is that you want to accomplish, and think about the habits right now that you're engaged in that are incongruent with those results. I'll go back to the fitness aspect. Again, you want to get healthier, you want to lose some weight, you want to feel better about yourself, you want to gain some strength, some flexibility, you want to increase your risk, your chance of longevity. Okay. Eating out at fast food restaurants 4 times a week at lunch is not serving you. So those are the examples there. Now, here's some of the actionable takeaways for you. I want you to journal, right? Because journaling is a great way. I talk about the kinesthetic exercise between the thought of the mind and applying it on the brain in pen or pencil. There is a link there that helps uh, substantiate that into your subconscious mind, which means it really becomes a part of who you are. And then you literally start to make choices without even thinking that are aligned with those subconscious beliefs. So I want you to journal. And here's the prompts. Number one is ask yourself this question: what am I proud of? What am I proud of? And again, simple, 2 or 3 things. If you only can think of one, which come on, right? You should have a lot to be proud of. Write those down. The second prompt is, what did I learn from my biggest struggle this year? Was it in business? Was it in a relationship? Was it, is it something that you learned or, you know, think about your biggest struggle and what you learned from that particular experience. Number three is, what mindset or habit do I need to leave in 24? Okay. What mindset or habit do I need to leave behind in 2024? So I want you to first think in with mindset, what thought process? Are you someone who always sees the glass half empty? Do you expect failure? Do you see the worst in people? Do you get up late, sleep in? Do you not take time to recoup, to rest, to heal? Do you not detach from all the chaotic stuff around from you so you can take time to go within, clear your mind, and get present? What habit or mindset do you need to leave behind in 2024? Okay, so here's step two, right? The 7 steps to success in 2025 is I want you to be bold, think bold, and dream big in this new year. So the whole theme behind this is designing your future self for 25. So I want you to focus on creating a absolute crystal clear picture, an inspiring vision for you and your life for 25. I want you then to connect that to your goals and to their why for each of those goals. Okay, let me step back. So if you're listening to this the day this is being released, which is Monday of New Year's week, yeah, you're kind of right up against it. If you hear this the Friday after New Year's, look, you can start at any time. You don't have to wait to New Year's to do this. But having it in advance is always a good thing, but you don't have to. So, what you need to do, as I mentioned above in the first step, is you've got to set time aside to go within, to get quiet, to clear the noise and the distractions and the clutter and the chaos that pervades our life, because only in quietness can we be inspired to think bigger and therefore become bigger. Quietness is the presence of when we connect to our highest self. It's said that God speaks in only one language, and that language is silence. How often do you get silent? How often do you allow inspiration to flow to you? If you're somebody who always has to have, a podcast on, you never turn this one off, by the way, or music playing or whatever it might be, right? If you always need noise, the television, you're somebody who really needs to work on creating boundaries and eliminating the clutter and the noise. At least just start for a few minutes a day and ask yourself, what is my highest desire? What do I want 2025 to look like? Then, as you begin to see the big picture, you need to ask yourself, why is it that I want to achieve this? Why is it that I want to lose 25 pounds, get healthier, feel good? Well, the why may be is because there's a family history of heart disease and cancer. And I know if I'm overweight and out of shape, my risk of um, getting cancer or heart disease is going to increase. I saw my parents as they aged become feeble and incapable of living life on their own. And I don't want that. I want to be a part of my kids and my grandkids' life so I can be present and enjoy them and not be restricted in doing the things that they like to do. So, what is the why? Remember, the why is the fuel and the leverage to keep you attached to your goal. So, here's an actionable step. I want you to do a quick visualization exercise. Okay. Not right now. I'm going to give you a second to pause. A quick visualization exercise. I want you to imagine, what will your ideal life look like 1 year from now? One caveat, there are no limitations. I don't want you to think about money. I don't want you to think about, you know, I don't know how to do it. Oh, no limiting thoughts whatsoever. All I want you to do in a second, I want you to hit pause. And I want you to take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to see yourself 12 months from now in your ideal life with no limitations. What would it look like? Go. Okay, hopefully you guys did that. And if you did, if you got inspired, what I want you to do is I want you to write that vision down. And that's what I want you to focus on during your quiet time, your meditation, your prayer, whatever it might be, and continue to build upon that. I'm telling you, that's the seeds of growth right there. That's the seeds to your future. Nothing great, or really nothing any, has ever been created without an initial thought. So continue to foster new thoughts and new ideas. Visualization is a great tool to do so. All right, so success step number 3 is letting go to level up. It's what's called the art of closing the loop. So I want to talk about the importance of resolving unfinished business. So whether it's you've got you've got to forgive someone or yourself from a past event, pain, something you feel guilty about or shameful about. If you continue to carry that long, there is no way you can possibly experience your best life because hanging on to that pain creates resentment. It creates certainly anger and frustration, and you continue to live and experience the pain of that event. So here's the question: who do you need to forgive? And if it's you, what is it that you need to forgive for? And I guarantee it's probably both. There's something in your life you need to forgive yourself for, or someone. Now, here's the deal with the someone. Jay, should I reach out? Should I call them? Should I write them a letter, email them, text them, whatever? And the answer is you don't have to. Just by the energy of going quiet, thinking about that experience, thinking about the individual, and literally giving them forgiveness in your heart and your mind will begin an immediate shift within you. Now, if you want to reach out to them, you can certainly do so, especially if it's someone that you're estranged from. There's no problem with that, but you don't have to. You don't have to. And then, of course, what is it you're going to forgive yourself? Now, the other thing of closing the loop is decluttering. So, whether it's your physical spaces, whether it's the 6 inches between your ears, whether it's your car, um, in just your thoughts, it's time to declutter. You cannot create growth out of clutter. Clutter creates chaos. Let me repeat that. Clutter creates chaos. So, if your environment is constantly filled with clutter, it's impossible to allow new growth in. It's kind of like weeds, right? You got to pick those weeds first to allow new growth to come in. So think about where in your life, in your thoughts, in your actions, in your physical space that you need to declutter. I have a good friend of mine who's incredibly successful. Um, he's been going through this process the last 3 years of just selling stuff off, simplifying life. He told me, he said, Jay goes, it's the best thing I've ever done. He said, I feel so free. I don't feel tied to stuff anymore. And this is a guy who can buy anything, and he has, you could ever possibly dream. And I'm talking the high end stuff. He's like, I don't need it. It doesn't make me happy. In fact, moving it on, giving it away, selling it, that makes me feel good. Now, it doesn't mean that you still can't enjoy finer things in life. But even my world, I look around, I've got a lot of decluttering to do, and I've started it, but I'm nowhere near he is. And I want to get there because there is a sense of freedom when there's less stuff. And then the third thing is, what tasks have you left unfinished? Again, there's a certain set of personal responsibility that affects our self worth when we don't follow through on the things that we say we're going to do, whether it's for someone else or ourselves. So think about some of the things that maybe you promised others or yourself that you've let go and never completed. Believe me, they know, and you know as well too, and it makes you feel bad. So I'm not saying you need to do it today or tomorrow, but make note that these are things, and your word matters. Your word is your integrity. Your integrity defines your character. So the more things that you leave unfinished only affects your own self-worth and integrity. Make a promise to yourself, set a deadline to get those things done. So here's the list. It's called a closure list, right? Closure list. What is it that you need to complete or release before the year end? Again, if you did listen to this after the new year, within the next week or so, to set aside, to declutter the mind, make sure you've got everything in line that you promised to do so you can take on new tasks moving into the new year. All right, guys, the next step, number 4 to success in 2025 is financial freedom reset. The theme here is money moves for 2025. You guys know I love teaching about prosperity. It's one of the pillars of Power, Passion, Prosperity. And I love it so much that I teach a mastermind called the Money Mindset Mastermind, where we got entrepreneurs and professionals in there who are learning to up level their money mindset, learn what their money story is, understand where that money story came from. We give them the tools, begin to rewire their money because listen, money first comes to us via attraction of the energy we put towards money. Money in of itself is neutral. It's not positive or negative. It's what we give to it. And so if we come from scarcity, if we feel that money grows on trees, there's never enough. If I spend this dollar, it's a dollar I'll never get back. That's a scarcity mindset. That is a low energy vibration towards money, which literally blocks the flow of money to you. An abundant money mindset is that money's infinite. There's more than enough. If I spend this dollar or invest this dollar, I'm going to make 2 more after this. And that if someone's successful, it's not at my behest. I actually and celebrate their success. Scarcity mindset is envious of other people's success. You really need to up level and understand what your money mindset is. And so if you want to learn more about the money mindset, you can go to our website, powerpassionprosperity.com. Up in the tab, you can click and link and learn more and consider joining us. Love to have you. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to set savings and investment goals for 25. And then I want you to create a simple expenditure sheet. Now, I don't like to call budget because budget is a scarcity concept. Expenditure. How much money do you need to live each month? That includes, your basic rent and insurances, food, fuel, things like that. And then I want you to look at your variable or your expenses, your discretionary expenses, the things that, you know what, it's not going to make a difference. Yeah, sure. Maybe instead of having 4 streaming services, you have 2. But you know what? Over the year, you can save a lot of money and increase your net worth and your ability to save and invest, where then you can turn that money into more money and get you on your path to financial freedom. This is an important part for a lot of people that they don't consider, right? It's very simple and easy to set health goals, new career goals, but we want to really focus on the ultimate outcome of building more wealth for you and your family. That at some point in your life, as you get older, you can leave some legacy wealth for the next generation. So here's the actionable takeaway. Number 1 is I want you to share what's called the 1% rule. Here's the challenge. I want you to increase your investments the minimum of 1 additional percent this year over last year. That includes your savings. And I also want you to figure out how you can increase your revenue streams by 1% per month. So now you're looking at 3 different avenues. How can I make more? Right? How can I save more? How can I invest more? It's called the triangle of wealth. And at the top, what feeds it is earnings. And the more earnings drives towards savings, savings drives towards investment. Now, when you invest, the rule of thumb is to invest in only asset or revenue producing assets. A car, well, 99.99% of the cars are not an asset. Of course, when you're buying a rare Ferrari and you're going to turn around and flip it in 2 or 3 years, then you can make some money. However, um, if you hold that car for 10 years with holding cost, insurances, maintenance, it actually eats up the value of the vehicle. So every asset has that limited lifespan. So I'm really talking about assets that appreciate, that generate revenue, not vehicles. Okay. All right. Step 5 on the success pathway for 2025 is your circle equals your future. What does that mean? It means who you surround yourself will determine your success. I've read this multiple times. Like the first time I read it was in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But actually, I think the first one who said it was Jim Rohn in Think and Grow Rich when he said, your net worth worth is equal your net work. If you want to become more successful, hang out with successful people. Look at your network of people. Do they build you up? Do they encourage you? Do they support you? Do they challenge you? Do they hold you accountable? Do they call you out on your crap? Or are they enablers? Or when will they be happy for your success? Will they celebrate your success or will they be jealous and maybe not even hang out with you if you were to experience success? You really need to take a hard look of your network of people because they're either encouraging you and helping you on your path or they're hindering you. So this is the hard when I talked about the shed list, this is the hardest shed list of all because these are human beings with real emotions, real feelings, people you love and care about. And I totally get it. But it doesn't mean that they should have a dominant presence in your life. There's been a lot of people along the way that I've had to disassociate myself who I loved dearly, but they weren't good for me, not on where I was going. Their concepts, their thoughts, their limited thinking. I didn't want them to bleed into my consciousness. And I knew if I was going to transcend to the next level, I needed to hang around with people who thought at a higher level. You see, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. It's the way it works. So, the importance of building a supportive network and identifying those relationships are really important. And if you don't, I guarantee you, it's only going to hold you back moving into 25. So I want you to make a list of 3 people that you want to spend more time with in the coming year and why. So who in your circle is like, you know what? I need to spend more time with them. I need to take them for coffee. I need to learn more about what they do and, you know, how they become successful. And if it's people you don't know, but you know of, I've done this multiple times. I'll give them a call. I'll go, hey, this is Jay LaGuardia, and so and so told me about you and your success, and hopefully this doesn't sound a little forward, but I'd love to take you to coffee and learn about you and how you became successful in business and life. I heard you're a great dad or a great mom or whatever the case may be. You'd be surprised, man. People are like, yeah, of course. It's been it's one of the misnomers about success that success people don't give back, and that is absolute bullshit. The most successful people I know are always giving back of their time, talent, energy, and resources because a vast majority of them are self-made. They weren't handed to it on the silver platter, not the crap that you're being told by the media that all successful people have became that way because they were passed down from mommy or daddy or grandma or grandpa. It's horse crap. It's a very tiny percent of people. Most people are self-made and they're more than happy because they know how hard it was for them. They know how much they struggled. They know how many mistakes they made. And they love to help other people and help them on their journey and see if they can succeed more rapidly. That's why I do what I do, because I love being able to share these concepts. I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people achieve their dreams. There's nothing better, honestly, when you're living in the service of others. So make a list of 3 people that you want to spend more time with. And here's the key. Why? What is it about that person that you want to spend more time with? All right. Success step number 6. To be great, you got to recharge. As I mentioned at the start, we're in a holiday season. I love this time of the year. Actually, this year is kind of weird because the holidays are right in the middle of the week. If it's in the beginning weekend of the week, they're usually very long weekends. And so it's a little bit more difficult this year. But either way, a lot of businesses shut down or businesses slow down. This is a perfect time to sit back, step back, and just get quiet. Spend time with the people that matter the most to you, but spend time with you. Contemplate, assess, review, look ahead, dream, be ambitious, challenge yourself. So, if you're going to start the year burned out, good luck. So re-energize. And that means eating well during the holidays as well too. Doesn't mean you can't embellish, but don't over embellish. Whether it's sweets, rich foods or alcohol. Enjoy yourself, but don't overdo it. And still make sure you're taking time to get out, moving your body. Get outside, get some sunshine. I know it may be cold, but it's still good for you. So make sure you're energizing yourself at the start of the new year. You're ready to take off like a rocket. So let's talk about rest. Let's talk about recovery because these are keys to success. Let's focus on your physical and mental well being. Let's reset so you're ready to crush your goals this coming year. So I have what I call my self care audit. So to exercise, right? Exercise to evaluate your rest, nutrition, and mindset. So in your journal, evaluate, are you exercising enough? So if you're not exercising, the answer would be no. If you're exercising 1 or 2 days a week, maybe that's not enough. Or if you're exercising 7 days a week, you may be overdoing it. There is this thing called overtraining as well, too, right? Are you varying your exercises? Are you varying the degrees of intensities and the types? You know, using the using the concept of variation is really, really important to make sure the body just never gets in a consistent rut. Look at your nutrition, right? When was the last time you had blood work done to determine what your nutrition levels are? What do you really need? Are you taking supplements now? How do you know you need them and at what level? How do you know you've reached, optimal levels? The only way you can do that is through proper nutritional assessment and analysis. And blood work is certainly the best way to do so. I want you to evaluate your mindset. What are your most dominant thoughts? Are you a hopeful, optimistic individual? Are you negative, bitchy, crabby, you know? And look, we have those moments, but what's your dominant mindset? Are you optimistic? Are you someone people enjoy being around? Or when you walk in the room, they groan like, oh, here comes Mr. or Mrs. Negative, right? Uh, was that Negative Nancy or whatever it was back in the day? So be honest with that. Be honest with that assessment. And here's number 7. Number 7 is manifesting success. And it's all about dreaming big so you can be big, which, by the way, was the affirmation my kids said each night before they went to sleep. I would read them a story before when they were little. And we had an affirmation we would do. And it was, I am dreaming big, I'm being big. It's so key. That's the last thought I wanted them to have before they went to sleep. So that thought would permeate into their subconscious mind. So we want to explore visualization, affirmation, goal setting, right? These are 3 key success habits that I wrote about in my book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Destiny, the 8 Habits of Success. Visualization gets you connected to your inner desires and ambition, gets you connected back into your highest self. An affirmation is a statement of becoming. It's a statement and a template to begin to dictate of what your life is becoming. An affirmation is one of the strongest ways, along with meditation, to change our subconscious mind. It literally begins to rewire the subconscious mind through a process called neuroplasticity. And then goal setting, right? What's the target? What's the target? How can I achieve it? So in an affirmation, here's an example of an affirmation you could do. And so you can start out by saying, in 2025, I am someone who is becoming who blank by doing blank. So an example, I'm becoming someone who is positive by doing regular affirmations or meditations. And then you can just repeat that and put anything in there. So I'm becoming someone who blank, fill it in by doing blank. Now, an affirmation, how often should it be done? You can do it as often as you want. In fact, anytime I just used the one about being positive, if I saw myself being negative or thinking negative, that's when I would say my affirmation. In 2025, I'm becoming someone who is positive by doing regular affirmations. Now, the key behind an effective affirmation is it needs to be said out loud with emotion. because it's the emotion that unlocks the trapdoor between the conscious and the subconscious mind, again, which begins to rewire the subconscious mind. If you would have known my story when I first met my wife, I was one of the most negative, angry individuals you would ever want to meet. She'll tell you that off the bat. But through regular affirmations and meditations, I completely rewired my subconscious mind into be one of the most optimistic, positive people that you'll ever meet. Do I still deal with anger? Yes, but it's not my dominant emotion anymore. And I know how to effectively um, disempower the anger in an effective manner. So, affirmations is a very critical tool. Okay, so in review, okay, number one, reflect and rest. Number two, new year and a bold vision. Number three is let go to level up. Four is reset for financial freedom. Number five is your circle will determine your future. Six is recharge for greatness. And seven is manifest your success. Okay, guys, as I wrap up here, first of all, again, thanks for taking time out of the week and going through this. These are really effective tools. I promise you, if you sit down, go through the exercises I gave you, you will be set up better to succeed this coming year than any year before. Be very focused specifically on what success looks like 12 months from now. The clearer you can create that image in your mind, the more likely it is that you're going to succeed because the mind can't tell the difference between an actual event and one vividly imagined in great detail. That is a quote out of Maxwell Maltz' book, Psycho-Cybernetics. And so, in the greatest detail that you can create with that visualization, you'll move towards that in a rapid manner. Now, there's a few things I want to let you guys know that I'm thankful for this year and some of the achievements that I had. Because, it wouldn't be right if I wasn't doing the same exact things that you guys are. So my health goal this year was to increase my lean mass, and I did so by adding 8 pounds, which is important because muscle drives metabolism. And the higher the lean muscle is in your body, the higher your metabolism, the more calories you burn. But it just wasn't for that reason. As you age, typically what people do, especially when they're in their 50s, is they lose lean muscle about a pound per year. So that's 5 pounds every decade of lean muscle. It's the greatest predictor of lost longevity is loss of lean muscle. So if it's you or someone you know, a parent or grandparent, focus on them and encourage them to do some resistance exercise to maintain lean muscle. Now, my prosperity goal this year is we completed a multi-million, well, myself and my partners completed a multi-million-dollar project that we closed upon. And so it's just another layer we're building into our asset allocation and portfolio here. And we'll do another one here this year. So what is your prosperity goal for 2025? And then my spiritual goal was to engage in a daily prayer practice. Now, I can't say I've done every single day, but I've done more than I've ever have in my lifetime. And I'm certainly noticing a difference, and I'm certainly enjoying that experience more so. And so, again, as we talk about mental, physical, spiritual, and financial, I look at each of these categories and set one major goal in each one of these areas. And this particular year it was to improve a more consistent daily prayer practice. Now, my relationship goal is always the same, is to strengthen and improve my relationship with my wife. Because at the center of our family is this relationship we have. A, to be great role models to our kids and our grandchild, soon to be second grandchild, and to let them know what a strong, healthy, loving, respectful, kind relationship is. And that is by maintaining emotional connection, an intimate connection, encouraging each other, being respectful of each other, every day working harder at being kinder, less judgmental, and more patient. Now, uh, my biggest loss this year, for you who are dog lovers, we lost our 15-and-a-half-year-old. Um, he was a black lab and husky mix. 15 and a half years. We had to put him down this year. His body wore out. It was very, very sad, but He gave us so many years of great love, and we'll miss Bear, but that's what happens. It's sad. Our furry family, our furry kids. Now, my biggest overall goal this year, which probably the most proud of, is we opened Revitalizing Health and Hormones. It's been on our goal list the last couple of years. We got that thing up and launched in May, and it just took off, and it's been going gangbusters since. And very, very grateful for the incredible team that we've built, for the community who've welcomed with open arms the results that we're getting, and taking a new business from a brand new concept and bringing it to life. We talked about that vision, putting that vision out there, and then doing the homework, right? Committing the time, making the sacrifice, doing all the things necessary. Because the bigger the goal, the more energy it takes, the more commitment it takes, the more sacrifice it takes. And to see that to become a reality is incredibly rewarding. But more importantly, I get to share it with some amazing people who have been a part of that journey. And so I'm most grateful for getting Revitalizing Health and Hormones up and running this year. So, what is your biggest goal and achievement this past year? What's your health goal? What's your prosperity goal? Your spiritual goal? Your relationship goal? Lay those out. Time to contemplate, reflect, so you can begin and build moving ahead in 2025. So let me say to you, I wish you nothing but health, happiness, success, love, prosperity, because you deserve it. And again, I'm grateful to be a part of this with you guys. And I look forward to many incredible episodes this year. Leave me a message. Let me know what you would like me to cover. Let me know your thoughts on today. Maybe even text me, or excuse me, email me if those you have my text. Text me and email me what your biggest goal is for 2025. I'd love to know that. Let me help you be an accountability partner for you. Dr. J at Triple P Life, Dr. J at Triple P Life. Or you can follow me any social media app. And of course, we're on YouTube, so you can follow us there. And of course, hit the follow button, subscribe, leave your comments. We definitely want to know what you have to say. So once again, Happy New Year, guys. Love and appreciate each and every one of you. And as I always say, you be you, just be the best you. And I promise you, you will always empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and accelerate your prosperity in 2025 and beyond. Be well.